Ever wonder what skills your grandparents had that you've never even heard of? Stick around to uncover the lost secrets of the past that might just blow your mind. Number 20. Hand-washing clothes. In the era of modern conveniences, it's safe to say that almost everyone owns a washer and dryer. And for those who don't, a visit to the laundromat does the trick. However, the art of washing clothes without these time-saving marvels has become a forgotten skill. Gone are the days when hand washing was the norm. Today, our trusty washing machines have taken over, relieving us of the need to vigorously scrub garments by hand. But let's take a moment to appreciate what hand washing truly was, a ritual that demanded care and attention to each item of clothing. Now, hand washing clothes may not be everyone's cup of tea. Some may prefer the convenience and efficiency of tossing everything into a machine, and that's totally okay. It's just a different way of caring for your clothes, a skill that's slipping away with each generation. But here's the thing. Knowing how to hand wash your family's laundry is a valuable life skill. It's not just a relic of the past, it's a technique that comes in handy in various situations. Imagine a scenario where you're facing a laundry machine disaster, or perhaps you find yourself traveling to a remote location where machine washing is not an option. Maybe it's a conscious lifestyle choice to reduce your carbon footprint. Number 19. Ironing your clothes. Remember the days when every household had an iron? And the art of ironing was considered a crucial life skill? Well, those days seem to be a thing of the past, as more and more people are bidding farewell to their irons and embracing a wrinkle-free lifestyle. In the not-so-distant past, ironing your clothes was a routine chore, an essential step in keeping everything looking neat and presentable. But as time has marched on, the once ubiquitous iron has found itself relegated to the dusty corners of closets, replaced by more modern solutions.
Get really aggressive with the shirt.
For many millennials and younger generations, the concept of ironing might seem like a relic from a bygone era. With the rise of wrinkle-resistant fabrics and the convenience of laundry services, the need to wield a hot iron has become increasingly obsolete. Gone are the days of wrestling with hefty irons that seem to have a mind of their own, hissing and steaming as if possessed by some ancient spirit. And let's not forget the constant worry of whether you remember to unplug the iron before leaving the house, a concern that still haunts many to this day. Even when faced with the occasional stubborn wrinkle, today's dryers often come equipped with wrinkle-free settings, offering a quick and easy solution with just the push of a button. And for those who prefer a more hands-on approach, there's a plethora of anti-wrinkle sprays and less cumbersome steamers available to choose from. Sure, some may argue that nothing quite compares to the satisfaction of seeing perfectly pressed clothes. But with the busy lives we lead today, convenience often takes precedence over tradition. And let's be honest, who really enjoys the screech of an ironing board unfolding? Nowadays, if a garment does require a little extra attention, many opt for the gentler method of steaming, rather than the heavy-handed approach of ironing. While steaming may not be able to create a crisp crease in a pant's leg, it certainly gets the job done for most everyday clothing items. In the end, the decline of ironing can be seen as a natural evolution in our relationship with clothing care. As fashion trends evolve and technology advances, so too do our methods for keeping our wardrobes looking fresh and wrinkle-free. So while the days of perfectly pressed shirts may be behind us, the convenience of modern alternatives ensures that we can still step out looking sharp with minimal effort. Number 18. Cooking without microwaves. In today's fast-paced, microwavable society, the art of cooking from scratch is fading away, replaced by the convenience of prepared foods and instant meals. However, not too long ago, baby boomers thrived in the kitchen, relying on stovetops and ovens to create delicious dishes and homemade condiments, showcasing a dedication to slow cooking and a profound appreciation for flavors. The advent of microwaves has undeniably revolutionized meal preparation, making it quicker and more convenient than ever. In our modern era, putting together a meal has become almost synonymous with the hum of a microwave, as we've grown accustomed to the ease of reheating prepackaged items. Yet, there's something special about the bygone era when cooking involved more than just pressing a few buttons. Baby boomers could be found tying on aprons in sunlit kitchens, the aroma of ingredients filling the air, and the rhythmic dance of measuring and mixing becoming a soothing ritual. Cooking from scratch was a cherished skill, allowing individuals to create not just a meal, but an experience, a labor of love that went beyond mere sustenance. Unfortunately, as our reliance on convenience has grown, the once common ability to whip up a tasty, healthy meal from raw ingredients is waning. The act of cooking from scratch is laden with a sense of nostalgia, evoking images of family gatherings, holiday feasts, and the warmth of a home-cooked meal. Despite the wealth of information available about processed and prepared foods, the art of starting with raw ingredients and crafting a dish from the ground up is slowly slipping away. Number 17. Sewing. In the age of disposable fashion and instant deliveries, the once indispensable skill of sewing has gradually faded away. Before the era of fast fashion, a rip or tear in clothing wasn't a reason to discard it. It was seen as an opportunity to mend and renew. Today, the sustainable fashion movement is working to revive the value of repairing over replacing, emphasizing the importance of extending the life of our garments. If you've ever tried sewing by hand, you might relate to the frustration of poking yourself with a needle or struggling with a stubborn thread. The sewing machine, with its bobbins, reverse stitch levers, and tension controls, can even be more intimidating for those unacquainted with its intricacies. A 2017 study by the British Heart Foundation revealed that 57% of British people believe that sewing is becoming a lost art. In a fast-paced world where convenience often trumps craftsmanship, the need for sewing skills has declined. In fact, half of the study's participants confessed that they would turn to their parents for help in mending something. The diminishing emphasis on practical life skills in education has played a role in this decline. Many schools in the U.S. no longer offer home economics classes, which were later named Family and Consumer Services in 1994. The shift towards standardized testing has overshadowed the importance of hands-on skills like sewing. However, the pandemic has sparked a resurgence of interest in sewing among American millennials. As the destructive environmental impact of fast fashion becomes more widely recognized, young individuals are taking matters into their own hands, quite literally. Learning how to sew is not just a practical skill, it's a step towards a more sustainable and conscious approach to fashion. In recent years, there has been a noticeable shift in mindset. The once intimidating sewing machine is finding its way back into households.
Easy. Happy making friends with your machine.
Not only for repairing clothes, but also for creating and altering garments. The desire to maintain a unique lifestyle in a sustainable way has motivated many to pick up the needle and thread, turning an old-fashioned skill into a modern act of environmental responsibility. Number 16. Maintaining a resume. In the ever-evolving landscape of job hunting, the traditional resume is facing a shift in its significance. While keeping an updated resume has long been considered essential, the metrics of employment are changing, impacting the influence of the good old-fashioned curriculum vitae. In the past, employers placed high value on an applicant's experience, making a chronological compilation of work history a staple requirement. However, in today's job market, the focus has shifted towards an individual's performance, making it increasingly challenging to effectively communicate one's skills and achievements through the traditional resume format. Moreover, with the job market constantly evolving and skill requirements changing rapidly, the static nature of a written resume may no longer suffice. According to a report by business media brand Fast Company, a staggering 87% of employers now prioritize previewing a potential hire's LinkedIn profile over a traditional resume. Additionally, multimedia platforms like Linktree offer more dynamic and interactive ways to showcase skills and accomplishments online. While having a resume on hand is still advisable, the conventional approach of listing job objectives and detailing work history may soon become obsolete. Instead, the trend is shifting towards maintaining online profiles that offer a more comprehensive and fluid representation of one's professional journey. Unlike previous generations, who meticulously updated their CVs with every minor detail, today's job seekers are turning to platforms like LinkedIn to showcase their skills and experiences. Number 15. Writing in cursive. Cursive writing, once the hallmark of elegant handwritten communication, has seen a decline in practical use. Although its extinction is a topic of debate, there is a tangible shift away from teaching and employing this ornate script, with some arguing its demise while others question its relevance. In 2010, U.S. schools were no longer mandated to teach cursive writing as part of the Common Core standards. While decisions regarding its inclusion in the curriculum now rest with individual states, many have chosen to retain cursive writing education. The National Library of Medicine underscores the scientific basis for this choice, revealing that cursive writing aids in diagnosing spatial and graphical learning problems. It enhances cognitive abilities, fostering automaticity, a term used by psychology experts to describe the freeing up of mental resources for other tasks. Moreover, cursive writing contributes to motor skill development, language acquisition, and reinforces lessons learned from other mediums, as noted by Johns Hopkins University. Despite these benefits, the digital era's dominance, marked by email communication, digital note-taking, and e-signatures, has significantly reduced opportunities for showcasing the art of cursive writing. For baby boomers, renowned for their lovely handwriting, cursive was not just a practical skill but a personal and aesthetic expression. However, as society gravitates towards computers and word processors, The demand for cursive proficiency has dwindled. Unless one aims to craft a handwritten letter, there are limited occasions to practice and display cursive skills outside of the educational setting. The decline of cursive is lamented as the artistry and elegance it brought to the written word are overshadowed by digital convenience. While technology offers a plethora of fonts,
Yeah, is that what they call these?
the unique charm of well-executed cursive remains unmatched. As we witness this fading art, the debate continues between those advocating for its preservation, citing its cognitive benefits, and those embracing the digital age, where the practicality of cursive writing becomes increasingly marginalized. Number 14. Writing letters. In an era dominated by social media, staying in touch with friends and family has never been more effortless. A quick Facebook message, a group chat with best friends, or a brief email to mom have become the norm, rendering the act of sitting down to compose a handwritten letter seemingly antiquated and labor-intensive. The convenience of digital communication has led to a decline in traditional letter writing. A 2021 CBS News survey revealed that 37% of Americans confessed to not sending a personal letter through the mail in over 5 years, with 15% admitting they have never sent one at all. This trend isn't exclusive to a particular age group. Letter writing is gradually fading out of favor across all demographics. Yet amidst the efficiency of emails and instant messaging, there might be a compelling reason to revive the art of letter writing, even if perceived as time-consuming compared to the instant gratification of electronic messages. The act of putting pen to paper and sending a heartfelt letter holds unique benefits. Apart from the joy of receiving something other than bills and coupons in the mailbox, there are psychological advantages to engaging in this seemingly outdated practice. Research published by Science Direct highlights that expressive writing, such as crafting a personal letter, can enhance resilience to negative emotions, provide a sense of accomplishment, and deepen connections between sender and recipient. While emails can be convenient, they lack the personal touch of a handwritten letter. Tangible messages delivered through traditional mail carry not just words but also emotion,
able to build or get their hands on a nuclear weapon.
effort, and a physical connection, transcending distances in a unique way. The act of receiving a letter becomes a cherished experience in a world inundated with digital communication. In the bygone era, handwritten letters were more than a mode of communication. They were a meaningful way to connect, fostering lasting memories and strengthening interpersonal bonds. Number 13. Typing on typewriters. Before the era of word processors and autocorrect, typewriters were the cornerstone of document preparation. Each keystroke required effort, imbuing every word with a sense of deliberation and purpose. Typewriters were more than just machines. They were the vessels of craftsmanship, teaching users the art of precision and attention to detail. In the absence of digital shortcuts, typing on a typewriter demanded a level of focus and skill that modern keyboards often overlook. The mechanics of a typewriter were elegantly simple yet profoundly effective. A ribbon, saturated with ink, stood poised against pristine sheets of paper. With each press of a key, a metal hammer adorned with the corresponding letter would strike the ribbon, leaving a tangible imprint on the page. There was no room for error. Mistakes were permanent, and the absence of an undo button meant starting anew. While typing on a typewriter may seem archaic in today's digital age, its significance transcends mere mechanical function. It fostered a unique connection between writer and text, prompting careful consideration of each word before it found its place on the page. The days of typewriters may be long behind us, replaced by sleek laptops and handheld devices, but their legacy lives on in the evolution of writing and communication. The tactile experience of typing on a typewriter, with its rhythmic clatter and satisfying ding at the end of each line, is a memory cherished by those who experienced it. Number 12. Using the card catalog. Not too long ago, less than 15 years in the past, the go-to solution for projects or assignments sans access to pricey Encyclopedia Britannicas was a trip to the local library. In those days, before the ubiquity of digital information, books within a library were meticulously cataloged, each one represented by a card neatly tucked into seemingly endless rows of super long drawers. Navigating the library's vast collection involved a process akin to a pre-Google search. The card catalog held the key, providing book numbers that guided readers to their sought-after titles. Before the digital era, librarians would navigate the Dewey Decimal System, jotting down long strings of numbers on scraps of paper to locate specific books. While digital databases have undoubtedly overshadowed the traditional card catalog, there was a certain charm in the tactile act of thumbing through cards, embarking on a quest for that one elusive title or author. Libraries were not just repositories of knowledge, but realms of discovery, where the journey to finding a book was as enriching as the reading itself. In 2015, the Smithsonian reported that the Online Computer Library Center had discontinued the production of printed cards, marking the end of an era. Those drawers that once lined library walls, filled with neatly arranged cards, became relics of a bygone time. If you encounter them today, it's likely in a reference or historical archive department. The advent of the internet and the widespread use of computers for cataloging and searching rendered the card catalog obsolete. The efficiency and automation offered by online drives and digital databases made the physical cards redundant. The once cherished card catalog, a stalwart method of organizing a library's inventory for over a century, quietly faded away as technology ushered in a new era of information access. Number 11. Traditional grammar.
All right, but anyway, we're not going to start in morphology. We're going to start back in...
Oh, the lament of grammar enthusiasts everywhere. Why, oh why, must we bid adieu to the sacred rules of traditional grammar? It's a sorrowful tale indeed. Yes, we get it. Texting has become the norm, and in the fast-paced world of digital communication, brevity reigns supreme. But does this mean we must sacrifice the sanctity of proper grammar on the altar of convenience? We think not. Traditional grammar, with its steadfast rules and principles, once stood as the cornerstone of clear and effective communication. It was the bedrock of a bygone era, where eloquence and precision were prized in written expression. But alas, language, like everything else, evolves. And with the advent of cell phones and their accompanying emojis and acronyms, our written communication has undergone a transformation. Shortened phrases and creative spellings have become the order of the day. Mom, it's fine, we say, adding extra letters for emphasis and flair. Moreover, the landscape of pronouns and descriptors is shifting. The once controversial singular they has found acceptance in esteemed grammar authorities like the Associated Press and the Chicago Manual of Style, signaling a move towards inclusivity and gender neutrality. Punctuation, too, has seen its share of upheaval. The apostrophe, that humble mark of possession, is often misused, while exclamation marks have become ubiquitous in our digital exchanges. And let's not forget the almighty period, whose presence or absence can dramatically alter the tone of our messages. While these linguistic shifts may cause traditionalists to wring their hands in despair, the reality is that language is a living, breathing entity, constantly morphing and adapting to the times. The grammar of yesteryear, steeped in Latin tradition, may hold a special place in the hearts of boomers, but the language of today marches to a different beat. Yet, amidst the chaos, let us give thanks that certain linguistic abominations never gained traction. Anyone for a naughty night at the club? Indeed. Let us cling to our emojis if need be, but let us never forsake the beauty of well-crafted sentences and the elegance of proper grammar. Number 10. Using a dictionary.
Black, destitute of light, devoid of color.
I remember when the venerable dictionary was a steadfast companion in the quest for lexical enlightenment. But wait, we're not mourning the demise of words and their meanings. It's the physical manifestation of a dictionary that's fading into the annals of history. Imagine this: a massive tome, heavy, expensive to produce, and the only way to keep it current is to publish a whole new edition. Enter the online dictionary, sleek, nimble, and utterly unencumbered by the constraints of physicality. Sure, you might have inherited a weathered copy from your grandparents, a quaint relic from a linguistic yesteryear. However, in the age of Google, the once mighty paper dictionary often gathers dust on the shelf, overshadowed by the convenience of its digital counterpart. But hold on, before we dismiss the tangible lexicon entirely, let's consider its redeeming features, as pointed out by the wise folks at Scholastic. For one, there's something oddly satisfying about leafing through pages in search of a word. It's a journey through alphabetical order, a ritual that imparts not just the desired word, but an array of neighbors in the lexical landscape. In the era of emails and digital missives, the modern writer can summon a spell check, consult an online dictionary, and dance with a thesaurus, all without leaving the cozy glow of the laptop screen. No need to wrestle with the heft of a paper-bound linguistic tome. So while the physical dictionary may be fading into antiquity, let's not forget the valuable lessons it imparted. Lessons of order, exploration, and the joy of discovering words beyond the one we sought. Number 9. Balancing a checkbook. Let's talk about checks, or should we say, relics from a bygone era? In many countries, these paper slips are as rare as a unicorn sighting. Balancing a checkbook? Well, that's practically ancient history. You see, checks have been relegated to the annals of financial nostalgia, overshadowed by the convenience of plastic and the lightning-fast magic of bank transfers. Who has time to wait a week for a piece of paper to clear when you can zap money across the digital ether in seconds? Once upon a time, meticulously jotting down every debit and credit in a physical checkbook was the norm. It was like a financial diary, chronicling every monetary move with the precision of an accountant. But in today's world of online banking, that practice seems about as relevant as a horse and buggy in rush hour traffic. Let's face it, the days of balancing a checkbook, painstakingly cross-referencing your own notes with monthly bank statements are over. The very thought of it might elicit a nostalgic chuckle or a sympathetic shake of the head. Yet buried beneath the relics of financial ambiguity lies a nugget of wisdom, the importance of financial literacy. Sure, we may not be scribbling numbers in a checkbook anymore, but the principles of prudent money management still hold true. So while the days of balancing checkbooks may be behind us, there's value in occasionally peeking at our bank statement. It's a small act of financial mindfulness, a moment to reflect on our spending habits, and who knows, maybe catch a glimpse of any suspicious activity. Number 8. Using a landline. It's hard to believe how long ago it was when people used landline phones. Remember the thrill of dialing a number and hearing the familiar ring on the other end? It seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? In a world before smartphones and instant messaging, landlines were the lifeline of distant communication. But alas, those days are now but a distant memory, relegated to the annals of nostalgia. For Gen Xers and Gen Zers, the landline is a relic of a bygone era, a curious artifact from a time before touchscreens and emojis. The idea of sharing a single household phone with its tangled spiral cord stretching into the next room seems like a quaint relic of the past. With the advent of affordable cell phones, the landline has slowly faded into obscurity. In 2018, a whopping 84% of households boasted at least one smartphone, according to data from the U.S. Census. And by 2020, over 80% of adults aged 25 to 34 had ditched the landline altogether, opting for the convenience and mobility of wireless communication. Gone are the days of memorizing your friends' phone numbers or dealing with the dreaded busy signal. In today's digital age, our smartphones serve as our virtual memory banks, storing everything from phone numbers to grocery lists in the cloud. It's a phenomenon known as digital amnesia, the tendency to rely on technology to remember things for us. But let's not forget the simple joys of the landline era. There was a certain charm to answering calls without screening, and taking messages was a polite and helpful process. In a world that moves at the speed of light, perhaps we could all use a little dose of old-school courtesy. So as we bid farewell to the landline, let's cherish the memories it provided and marvel at how far we've come. And who knows, maybe one day our grandchildren will look back at our smartphones with the same nostalgic fondness. Number 7. Phone directories. Once upon a time, in a world not so distant, phone companies would publish hefty directories containing the contact details of all their customers. These tomes of telephone numbers were distributed to households and businesses, organized alphabetically for easy reference. The simplicity of flipping through those pages to find the desired information. But alas, the age of the landline is coming to an end. With the rise of smartphones and digital communication, the once ubiquitous telephone directory has become a relic of a bygone era. These days, if you need to find someone's contact information, you simply fire up your smartphone or laptop and turn to trusty old Google. Gone are the days of bulky phone directories cluttering up our homes and offices. In their place, we have sleek digital interfaces that allow us to search for information in a matter of seconds. Why bother sifting through hundreds of pages when you can find what you need with just a few clicks? If you're still holding on to our dusty old phone directory, it's time to let go. Number 6. The lost art of changing your oil. In the golden age of automobiles, changing your car's oil was more than just a chore. It was a rite of passage. Back then, cars needed regular maintenance, and if you were a proud car owner, the responsibility fell squarely on your shoulders. Oil changes in particular were like a sacred ritual, fostering self-reliance and a deeper connection to your vehicle. But oh, how times have changed. In today's world of modern vehicles with their complex electronics and high-tech engines, the idea of popping the hood and tinkering with your car's insides can be downright intimidating. Gone are the days when every car owner was also a part-time mechanic. Sure, the experts at AAA still recommend changing your oil every 5,000 to 7,500 miles, depending on your oil type and car model. But let's face it, most of us would rather leave the dirty work to the professionals. After all, attempting to change your oil without the proper tools and know-how can lead to costly mistakes and potential damage to your vehicle. And let's not forget about the convenience factor. With garage services readily available, why bother getting your hands dirty when you can have someone else do it for you? It's no wonder that most young people today opt to leave the oil changes to the pros. But perhaps there's a silver lining to this modern approach. While boomers may reminisce about the days of teaching their grandkids how to add oil to a car, today's generation is freeing up valuable time and reducing anxiety by outsourcing their car maintenance tasks. Number 5. Driving stick shift. There was a time when driving a car with a manual transmission was more than just a means of getting from point A to point B. It was a skill, a passion, a connection with the very essence of the machine. However, in today's automotive landscape, this once revered skill is fading into obscurity. Statistics paint a stark picture. A mere 1% of U.S. vehicles now boast a manual transmission, a testament to the declining era of hands-on control and driver-machine connection. Back in the 1980 model year, a substantial 35% of U.S. cars featured manual transmissions. Fast forward 40 years, and that number has dwindled to a paltry 1%. According to data collected by U.S. News and World Report, a mere 18% of drivers claim to know how to maneuver a stick shift. CarMax's report drives the point home, revealing that a staggering 96% of Americans now prefer the ease of automatic transmissions in their daily lives. Why the decline, you ask? For starters, the cacophony of a dropped clutch is akin to nails on a chalkboard, an auditory assault that can make your stomach drop just thinking about it. Technological advancements have also played a role, with the introduction of dual transmission production vehicles like the 2003 VW Golf, blending the fuel efficiency of a manual with the ease of an automatic. The rise of electric cars, as reported by the New York Times, further seals the fate of the manual transmission, with electric vehicles outselling their manual counterparts in 2019. In this rapidly evolving automotive landscape, the manual transmission may soon join the ranks of extinct species, at least in the United States. Yet for those who once reveled in the art of driving a stick shift, the experience was more than a mode of transport. It was a rite of passage demanding skill, attention, and a true connection to the driving experience. Number 4. Rolling film in cameras. In the age of digital photography, where every moment can be captured with a mere click of a button, the once magical process of rolling film in cameras has become a relic of the past. But for the baby boomers who grew up with film photography, there was a certain charm, a certain magic to this meticulous task of capturing moments on celluloid. Picture this: the thrill of holding a camera loaded with film, the anticipation of capturing the perfect shot, the careful calculation of exposure settings, all part of the ritual of film photography. Boomers reveled in this analog world, where every click of the shutter held the promise of a cherished memory. But oh, the wait. In the days before digital cameras and instant gratification, waiting for photos to be developed was an exercise in patience. You drop off your film at the local photo lab and anxiously await the prints, knowing that it could take days, even weeks, to see the results of your labor. Compare that to today's digital era, where a sunset can be captured and shared with the world in a matter of seconds. No need for film, no need for dark rooms. Just grab your smartphone, point, shoot, and presto, you have a picture-perfect moment captured for eternity. Yet in our quest for instant gratification, we've lost something special. We've lost the anticipation, the mystery, the magic of waiting for photos to develop. Film photography was more than just a means of capturing images. It was an experience, a journey, a connection to the artistry of photography. Number 3. The lost art of using a compass. In the age of smartphones equipped with GPS, the humble compass has become a relic relegated to the kit bags of outdoor enthusiasts. Yet this pocket-sized tool, devoid of batteries, once held a vital place in the skill set of many. A compass, a simple yet invaluable device, requires no electronic power and can serve as a reliable guide in various situations. Its magnetic arrow consistently points to magnetic north, providing orientation and direction. It's a pocket-sized navigation aid that doesn't rely on satellite signals or battery life. In the days of yore, knowing how to use a compass was more than a survival skill. It was a mark of self-reliance and outdoor competence. Whether embarking on a wilderness adventure or exploring unfamiliar territory, the compass was a steadfast companion. Today, smartphones come equipped with digital compasses, offering users a convenient alternative. However, relying solely on technology may have its drawbacks. What if your phone runs out of battery, or you find yourself in an area with no cellular signal? In such situations, the old-world charm of a physical compass proves its worth. While scouting programs may still impart compass skills to some, the majority now turn to smartphone apps for navigation. Number 2. Reading maps. Do you remember the days when unfolding a paper map felt like unlocking a treasure trove of possibilities? The satisfaction of navigating unfamiliar terrain with nothing but a trusty map and your wits is a feeling many of us cherish from our youth. Who here has struggled to fold a map back to its original state? It's like trying to tame a wild beast. Yet despite the challenges, there's a certain charm to mastering the art of folding maps neatly, isn't there? Now let's get real. How many of us, especially millennials, feel confident in our map reading abilities? Not many, according to a survey by Ordnance Survey. In fact, only a meager 20% of millennials expressed a desire to improve their map reading skills. But here is the kicker. 60% of millennials rely heavily on digital maps like Google Maps and Waze when venturing into unknown territory. It's like having a personal navigator at your fingertips, right? But what happens when technology fails us? Picture this. Your phone battery dies in the middle of nowhere, leaving you stranded without directions. Scary, isn't it? Sure, it may seem daunting at first, but learning to read one could be a lifesaver in emergency situations. And let's not forget the satisfaction of plotting a course on a physical map. It's like solving a puzzle. Now let's reminisce. Remember the feeling of accomplishment when you successfully navigated using a paper map? It's a skill worth preserving, a connection to a simpler time when exploration meant unfolding a map and embarking on an adventure. So while GPS and digital maps have made our lives easier, there's something undeniably special about the tactile experience of reading a paper map. Number 1. The lost art of meeting in person. Who here has experienced the thrill of meeting someone special face to face and asking them out on a date? Ah, those were the days, weren't they? Well, let's talk about today's dating scene. How many of you have turned to dating apps to find your soulmate? It's like having a virtual matchmaker at your fingertips, promising to find your perfect match among a sea of profiles. Remember the rituals of the baby boomer era? Dine-in movies, dinner dates, and dances were the norm. It was all about genuine connections, patience, and the excitement of pursuing someone you were interested in. But here's the kicker. According to a study from Stanford, a whopping 39% of heterosexual couples found each other online. That's a significant increase from just 22% in 2009. Looks like swiping left or right has become the new norm in the dating world. But let's break it down further. Who's more likely to use dating apps? According to Pew Research Group, 48% of people aged 18 to 29 have used a dating app to find love.
What are you really doing online? I mean, you're a pretty girl.
And guess what? LGBTQ+ individuals are even more likely to turn to dating apps to find their perfect match. But amidst all the digital matchmaking, let's not forget the charm of meeting someone in person. Remember the excitement of making a real connection and getting to know someone face to face? It's a lost art in today's swipe-happy world. So while technology has streamlined the dating process, let's not forget the magic of meeting someone in person and building a genuine connection. After all, love isn't just about swiping left or right. It's about making meaningful connections that last a lifetime. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more fascinating content. Until next time, stay tuned.